So, as you guys know, it's been 4 months of me living in Mexico, and it has been quite the experience. So, firstly, we're going to talk about me coming over. So, I plan to come to Mexico very much last minute. I had no prior plans of traveling out the country and living out the country. I did research for about 2 months, and that time I fasted and I just kept it to myself. I didn't share it with many people. I did have a going away party, but nobody knew what the party was for. I just said I was having a get together, and if you came, you found out. If you did, you didn't. But God had put it on my heart for me to move to Mexico, and so that's what I did. I think that I needed this time here to be isolated, just me and God, to really like work on some things within myself, with my relationship with God, and just with like my spirituality and where I'm going in my life, my purpose in my life. So I think Mexico has been really good to me in that aspect. As far as finding my apartments, I found my apartment on immeubles24.com, but I also cross reference Facebook Market a lot, and I'm going to show you guys how to do that right now.
So you want to head over to good old Google and we're going to type in Immublaze, which I cannot spell 24. We're going to search it and we're going to click Immublaze 24. So what I like to do is have a translator on my Google or Safari engine search so that I can translate the language so you can understand what it's saying and you can type in the city. Now, there is something going on with this page. So usually if you have that front page in English, it won't work. So fix it back to Spanish, search the city, and then translate it to English because for some reason there's a bug with that website and I had to figure that out. So now we have a list of apartments and that are available in Playa del Carmen. And you have a lot of different options. You have like rental or buy. You have what kind of apartments or building, so home, how many bedrooms, the price range, and that's not going to be to put it in USD or pesos, it's the range of the price. Um, just so there's no confusion with that. There's more filters with way more options, security, swimming pools, all of that stuff. So let's start our scroll. And so the first thing I see that catches my eye is, well, this $5,000 tag, but we're gonna scroll past that. But some are listed in USD. This one was 17,000 pesos, which today is $979. And you want to keep in mind that the price will always be in pesos, so it may change in US dollars. That's something that's really important to know when you're living out the country. Now, when you scroll down, it shows the characteristics of the apartment and it also shows the realtor information. You have to be signed in to see this. I do have an account, but I don't want y'all in my business. So this apartment says Carmen Beach. So this one's going to be closer to the beach, which is closer to the area I live. I live pretty close to the beach, about a 1 to 2 minute walk. And apartments close to the beach are going to be a little bit more expensive. This is a studio for about $864. So this studio is by Mulatto Brokers, which is the company that I do real estate for. So that's pretty cool. I really wasn't looking for one of their apartments, but I just so happened to click on it, and that is the company that I work for. So let's do one more scroll and pick one more apartment. And I'm gonna pick this one because it says 15, which is pretty close to the beach as well. And we're just gonna take a look at that. So that also has a rooftop beach view and it looks pretty comfy. It's more spacious and the tag is much higher. It costs way more to have more space, and that's going to be about 1,500 American dollars. So exact is 1441, but again, keep in mind that the US amount can change. Okay, so another way to find apartments is to go over to Facebook Market and you want to change your filter to the location that you're searching. So for me, it's going to be Playa del Carmen. So we're just going to type in Playa del Carmen in the search engine, and the apartments are going to pop up for the area. Now you have Centro, you have Playa, but if you don't know much. You're just gonna put it in that general area, and then you can zoom in and it'll show you more apartments. I probably should have showed that y'all, but I didn't. So I'm gonna scroll, and then I'm realizing like, oh, you know what, there's a better way to do this. So on the left hand side, you're gonna click on property rentals, and that's the best way to search on Facebook for rentals, because otherwise you're just kind of going through a bunch of junk, and there's no like specifications. So you click on a listing and it shows you everything. It shows you building details, unit details. It shows you the price. So this is a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom for 17,500 pesos, which is only $1,000, but it's typically going to be further back behind the highway, which is considered like local playa. And you have to keep in mind that you'll have to get around and be able to communicate if you're going to be in local playa. I personally stay closer to the tourist areas because I know that I'll be able to get around and communicate a little bit more effectively because I'm not fluent in Spanish. So we're just going to take a look at another apartment, and this one's pretty close to the beach. So it's a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom, which honestly looks more like a studio, and it's 20,000 pesos, which is $1,152, but it is really close to the beach. Honestly, you can walk outside and see the beach, and there's a lot of restaurants around. The apartment that you choose should definitely be based off what you want, where you want to live, how fluent you are in Spanish, how local you want to live. So there are a lot of decisions, and you definitely want to keep in consideration all of those things.
So as far as the visa process goes, you get an automatic 6 months as an American citizen. I don't know what it is for other nationalities, but as an American, you get 6 months. So visa free. So just automatic. So I came here in November of 23, and I'm leaving on 24, which would be a little bit over 6 months, but I have traveled back and forth. The visa does start every time you travel in and out. Now you can obtain residency so that you don't have to worry about that 6 months. I'm just not interested in being a resident of Mexico, and we'll get into that in my next video. uh, so yeah, I look so cute. Oh my gosh. Okay, so transportation from the airport, when you're moving to Playa, you'll probably have like multiple, or not Playa, to Mexico, you'll probably have more than 2 bags. So if you have more than 2 suitcases, I do suggest a private transfer. I don't suggest trying to travel with all of your stuff. When you get here and you only have to take it one way, so it'll be cheaper. It'll probably be about $75 if you're coming from like Cancun to Playa. Cheaper if you're going to stay in Cancun. Way more if you're going to Tulum. I did take a private transport adventure gateway, and I'll definitely pop the logo and the WhatsApp number in here. That's who I used to transfer me from the airport to my first Airbnb when I first got here. That's another thing. You guys can also check out the Airbnbs. They are more expensive in comparison to getting an apartment. I got my apartment within 3 days. I don't like to live out of a bed, and I don't like to be unstable. I've lived an unstable life, and I just don't like it anymore. I'm getting too old for the bullshit. So yeah, I took the transport there, but if you're just visiting Mexico, or if you're just coming for say a month or so, you don't have that many bags, I would definitely suggest to just take the ADO bus. From Cancun to wherever you go in Playa, Tulum. This only works for Quintana Roo, or whatever it's called, but the 3 big, Tulum, Cancun, and Playa. Y'all, please ignore my one name. I can't forget. Okay, so that is transport. So I stayed in the Airbnb for 3 days, barely, maybe like 2.5. As far as signing a lease, I signed a lease. I had to pay a cash deposit, or you could have done Wise. So Wise is an app that you definitely want to have when you come to Mexico. You definitely want to go ahead and like upload your bank information and all of that. It is a safe app. It's almost like a bougie cash app because it's like an international type of like what you would consider like cash out to be, where you just send money back and forth between people, but it's just on a much larger scale. It's worldwide. So I would definitely recommend downloading Wise, and that's not to be confused with Wise, the camera company. which is the cameras that I have in my house to make sure that, like right now, my housekeeper's in my house and my cameras just stay on. I mute my notifications because I know she's not doing anything, but I keep my cameras in my house for another like safety layer. While living out the country, while living anywhere, you should have a camera. It doesn't matter if you live out the country or in the country, you should have a camera in your house. So wise and wise, okay, be wise. So we got visa, transportation, housing. So yeah, signing my lease. So I signed my lease with my realtors. I found my realtor on MU Blaze 24, and her name is Ruby. Her name is Ruby, and Ruby and Ernesto. They are husband and wife, and they own a real estate company that I do work for. Oh my God, this has been in my camera angle the whole time. That I work for, and I help people find apartments. I post their apartments if you guys have seen on my TikToks and stuff. And yeah, so I have been doing real estate here too. Um, but yeah, the contract was simple. There was a contract fee that might have been like $6 to $10 to $20. There was a deposit, which it was 11,000 pesos, so about $600, and then my first month's rent, which was 22,000 pesos, which at the time was only 1,200 and like 75, but now it's like 1,350 because the dollar has fell down the drain and it's completely worthless. Everything was cool with the apartment. There were some things that I didn't like. There was like a stain on the wall because the apartment is furnished. So for furnished, that's a really good deal. $1,200, and I live like on the beach. I will show you guys because it's like right here, but I don't want to mess up my angle. But yeah, so it's a really nice apartment. It's really close to Fifth Avenue. That's another thing. So like if you're moving to like Playa, I would say like you want to live in front of the highway, but some people prefer to live behind the highway because it's cheaper. But for me, that's when you get into having to take taxis, having to let them know how to communicate efficiently. I don't speak fluent Spanish. I barely speak Spanish. I speak what I know. I'm able to communicate, but I'm not able to communicate all the way effectively. I can't argue. I can't get out my feelings. I can't ask too many questions. I can say, excuse me, hello, goodbye, thank you, and adios mios. Oh my God, that's about it. Okay. So you definitely want to live in front of the highway if you're not a big Spanish speaker or if you're not comfortable with just throwing yourself out into like the local type of area because I live in a tourist area, so it's very English savvy. Um, Although I'm learning the language, because I know that the bullies are going to come in my comments like, well, why are you going to Mexico if you don't know the language? Now, that perspective is so mind-boggling to me that you guys think you can't travel somewhere because you don't know the language. Like, what fucking sense does that make? That's like saying, like, if someone is dead, they shouldn't go anywhere, like, because they can't understand. Like, that doesn't make sense. Like, there's other way of understanding each other. Body language, apps. There's other ways. Like I just feel like let's grow up. There's not only one way to communicate. And if people are trying, let them try. And we have one life to live. Why would I travel? Because you on the internet decided that I shouldn't travel because I don't know Spanish. Fuck that. Yeah, just like living locally. I live walking distance to everything. I live 2 minutes from the beach on foot. Um, I live 30 seconds from all the shops and restaurants, probably 10 seconds if we being with 5 seconds if we being realistic. It's right outside. Um, my neighborhood is very safe. The area of Mexico I live in, Playa Del Carmen, is very safe. Um, the, the, the times that I wasn't safe always involved taxi drivers or security guards at hotels and resorts. It was never the locals that even though those people are local, it was never like the going outside. I'm outside at 10 o'clock at night, 12 o'clock at night, 1 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, and there's no one out, and it's me by myself, but I'm completely safe. Like I never feel unsafe here. There's just certain people who are bad people, and that's just what it is. And that's the same anywhere you go in America. There's people who do stuff they shouldn't do to you. It's the same way with Mexico. Um, as far as food, I do feel like I spend quite a bit on food, but at the same time, I save a lot. Looking at groceries in America and thinking about how much I was spending, maybe 200, and not even having nothing but like 4 bags of food, I can get 4 or 5 bags of food for $50, $70 in Mexico. Lots of fruits, lots of vegetables, fresh food. I have to cook everything from scratch. So I've had to cook a lot, which is why my housekeeper downstairs, because if I cook 2 times in a week, I'm not washing the dishes. Somebody else gonna wash them. So I'll be calling her like, hey, I need you to come tomorrow because I can't do it. But things like your housekeeping will be more inexpensive. So my housekeeping is 600 pesos. She also sold my dress and fixed it, and sewed one of my shirts and fixed it. So that's another 100 pesos, which is like $5. So altogether, with two things being sold in my housekeeping, it'll be 600 pesos, which is like $30, which is not bad. It's like 35, $40. As far as the ATMs, and this is a really important one, and I'm actually making a video on my TikTok about ATMs. It's really, really, really important that you decline the conversion. That's the most important thing you'll take from this video is when you come to Mexico and when you go to the ATM, you always want to decline the conversion. If you decline the conversion, you pay, if you accept that conversion fee, you are going to be out of so much money and it's not going anywhere. But back to the bank and you already paid the ATM fee, why would you pay? That's my biggest regrets. Expenses that you don't think about, international fees, ATM fees, making accidents, grabbing food that you think is something and it's something else when you get home and translate it. So you definitely want to make sure you have Google Translate on your phone. Google Translate is such an important app to have when traveling internationally, especially when living out the country. I use Google Translate, and you want to download the language so that you can use it even when you don't have service, because there'll be a lot of times when we won't have service. Um, as far as traveling around the city and transportation, I take the audio bus a lot because I go from Cancun to Tulum and Playa a lot. So I do that the most. In Cancun, they have Uber, which is why Cancun is my favorite place. Ubers are like $5 for 20 minutes. It's so cheap, it's so inexpensive. But then if you get a taxi, if you go 5 minutes, it's like so expensive. And Tulum is like the hustle, finesse city of the three. They just are so greedy, and it's so sad the way that they are just pushing people away, and nobody wants to hear, well, go back to your country. Oh, I know all that's going to be in the comments. I don't want to hear it. But they're just so greedy. It's the greed is insane to me. For a 5 minute ride, you'll be looking at $12, $20. Like for a 5 minute ride, you'll be looking at $10 to $20, and it doesn't make sense. And people are like, oh well, go back home if you don't want to. Like, guys, this is not how much this should cost here. Like, let's be fucking for real. So yeah, transportation as far as taxis, I don't feel that comfortable getting in taxis, but I do take them. I have had a bad situation, and it went up a little bit on TikTok, where a taxi driver changed the price on me, and then he put his hands on me and tried to intimidate me. Unfortunately, I don't fear nothing but God. So most people are fearful here and they are scared. So they use that intimidation that they know people feel, and they use that against them to get them out of money. Unfortunately, I don't roll like that. I'm not scared of nobody. So I pushed back. I was not going. And that situation kind of got like out of hand and a little crazy. And it be hurting my feelings a lot of times when I have bad experiences here, because I feel like I defended Mexico so much and I was like praising it for not being a bad and unsafe place. And I don't think it's a bad and unsafe place, but there are some things that do need to change if Mexico wants to continue to grow. But I feel like another thing is like a lot of people don't want us here. Some locals are happy for us to be here, but genuinely they don't want us here. Whereas in other countries, they love and welcome tourists. I don't feel that it's the same way here. I don't think like the people are like they're salesy, but I don't know if they're friendly. Like if they have something to sell you, then you can get a smile. But if they don't have anything to sell you and you smile at them, they're not gonna smile back at you. And that's kind of weird for me as being like a smiley person, but they are nice. Like the man that works at my friend desk, my fave, my housekeeper, my fave, Anna, who I met, doing makeup, love her. Like I love so many people here, and I'm just a nice person, so I do have good experiences. But I do watch and I do see like how people treat me differently. I'll say that when I have braids in, people treat me differently than when I have a wig on. So when I'm more like Bonita, and like I couldn't say white passing because obviously I'm not even light skinned no more. But just when I'm more like Barbie doll looking than natural. I don't know how to say that, but they do tend to treat me differently. The price spiking is ridiculous. The overcharging, the watering down liquor, the food sucks. The food quality is terrible. Um, I have so many things to say. I think I would just put it all on one video. Um, it's beautiful. It's a very, very, very beautiful country. I'm so grateful for this experience. I'm so grateful to be able to do this, to be able to experience this. It's been really nice and really cool. I spent a lot of time, me and God, just working through a lot of things. And I wanted to be here and do like content creation and do reviews and do, but I just have like I have almost like an intimidation and fear about working with certain companies and certain brands because I don't feel like they'll hold up their end of the stick, or either I'll be ended up getting manipulated and charged for something that's supposed to be an exchange. Like it's just like it's like a lot of shady business, and it's sad to say because I feel like if I was to go to Mexico City it wouldn't be the same, but in this tourist part of Mexico, this touristy part, and I'm not speaking for Mexico, I'm speaking just for Quintana Roo, or however the fuck you say it, or however you say it. I'm speaking for Tulum, Cancun, and Playa. It's just so much greed, so much like how much money can we pull out of Americans? Like we owe reparations. Everyone feels like Americans owe reparations, and we make so much money, and we just have money, but we have so many bills and we have so much debt, and our quality of life is nothing like this. We can never afford to live like this for this much money. So I don't know. I just feel like people don't put in perspective like the things that Americans go through because we do have a better economy, which is crazy because our economy sucks. But like we're, I don't know. I don't want to get into the politics of it all, but I don't know. I just feel like I don't want to go somewhere and feel like everyone's like hand out. You owe me reparations. Of if I don't buy something, oh, you gotta add it to like. So one man told me like, oh, you look mad, fix your face. Like it's just like I just want to mind my business. People screaming at you all damn day. I'm just not interested. So I am ready to go. I am ready to go. I have a lot more to say. I think I just need to organize it better in another video. But I had an urge to film today, so I was just like, let me just do it. Um, but yeah, I'll be sharing activities, things to do, places to go, recommendations, what I don't recommend, why I'm leaving, and more. In the next video, I don't want to make this too long, and I really want to organize these points. So this is just like a quick recap, quick review, quick update about how life has been. And life has been good after all of that. Life has actually been really good. I have had wonderful experiences. I get to go to resorts all the time, and it's a really, really nice. I don't drink much in Mexico. I don't eat out much. I really cook, so it's like my Mexico experience is almost kind of like I'm here, but I'm inside mi casa all the time. So my experience might be different than the next person who's always out. I do adventures and activities, but I don't just like swarm. But what's crazy is I can get around Mexico so easy because I do it all the time. and I can figure it out because I'm just like that independent, like go-getter that can just figure things out. So it's really not that hard. It's not that difficult. It's just that it's getting really expensive. Some of the prices are just insane. Like a pan, one single pan costs like $99. A spatula costs like $5 or $6. It's like some things just cost. The cost can't be justified. It's not worth it. And yeah, but I'm gonna make a pros and cons video and try to organize these thoughts better. This has just been my update. I have one more month left, and I feel like I just want to keep a lot of stuff in. And this is another thing, like I feel like I can't talk for myself. I can't speak for myself because I'm gonna get attacked by everyone that doesn't want me here already. Um, so I'm just trying to like wait out my last month, and I think that's why this video really wasn't that organized. But oh well. um, yeah, I got one more month, and then I'm off to the next country, next continent, rather. And if you don't know what that is, you just follow me on social media or stay tuned. Thank you guys for watching, and don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, click that button, notification bell on. See you guys later. Oh my God, it's so pretty. You're just so cute.